Good gentles, hark! Pay heed to this. Here begins the final court of Jonathan Miles and Teresa Anna Perez, most excellent Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp.
Greetings, lords and ladies. It has been far too long since we have sat upon these thrones. We do so on this day to welcome you to Mudthaw, our annual celebration of the return of spring.
The plague has frozen our society, not unlike the frigid cold of winter. But on this day we welcome you into the warmth of our hearts.
Charge your cups and take what comforts you may. Feast with your loved ones in the honor of their royal majesties, the barony of Setmore Swamp, and in honor of absent friends who cannot join us today.
As you all know, we are gathered here today in part to recognize the gentles that will be stepping into our shoes. Those that will guide the swamp into its next chapter. In just a bit, we will be joined by their majesties and we will recognize Master Orlando and Mistress Karis in a more formal way. However, in the interim, many of you know both Orlando and Karis to be lovers of the arts, gifted actors.
Acting!
We invite them into our court now in a less formal way so that we may share in this love of the performing arts with them and you all.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. We bring you words of Alcuin of York, poet, scholar, and theologian in the court of Charlemagne the Great. Also, he was tutor to Prince Pippin.
I, Spring, hope my cuckoo come with happy shoot, dispel the frost, nourishing comrade of Apollo into this time. Apollo loves the cuckoo when the bright light waxes.
I, Snowy Winter, pray the cuckoo not come, since it perchance produces toils. The disputes double, unyoking lovely rest. He upsets all things. They work on sea and on land.
Why do you, late winter, sing of the vices of the cuckoo? He who is covered by heavy torpor and dank caves, after the feast of Venus, after the cups of the idiot Bacchus.
I have my riches, even my happy dinner parties. There is sweet rest, warmer is the fire in the house. The cuckoo knows of this not, but that faithless one toils.
The cuckoo shall bear flowers and furnishes honey, and he builds homes and sails even the waves, and he produces offspring and clothes the happy fields.
Atrocious are these things to me which seem joyful to you, but it pleases to count up the desired treasures through the chests, and to rejoice then in food and to rest always.
Who to you, late winter, always prepared to sleep accumulates wealth, or heaps up any riches, if spring or summer produces nothing before you?
You speak truth. They, since they produce much for me, and even slaves conquer by my power, already serving my dominion whatsoever they produce.
You are not their lord, but a haughty and poor weakling. Already you will not be able to feed even yourself through yourself, unless any cuckoo come and furnishes food for you.
What is winter?
Summer's exile.
What is spring?
The earth's painter.
Welcome, sweet, splendorous spring, most welcome guest of all. Everything expects you, the sea and the earth and the sky. Cuckoo, welcome through the ages.
Farewell, winter, you fierce waster of things.
Thank you, Master Orlando and Mistress Karis, for sharing that beautiful piece with us, and we are confident that your reign will be filled with beauty and art and life. But now we have a few more words of thanks to give before we convene.
I'm not sure I can adequately put into words the appreciation we have for all those people who have made these past 4 years so wonderful. To our officers, deputies, and volunteers for their steadfast support of each other and to making our barony a success. To the populace of the swamp for your fellowship, for allowing us to make connections with you and others when needed, and for creating a community where we and Oscar can learn the value of working towards a shared dream. Also, to Oscar for so awesomely joining us on this ride and for doing this with us together. Thank you.
To Lady Lydia, I want you to know that in these 4 years, I have felt nervous, anxious, even frightened, terrified. But at no time have I ever felt ugly, and that is because I have always been coiffed in your clothing, and for that I am forever indebted to you. To Lady Judith, you are organization, I am chaos. You have been a mother and a mentor to me on an incredible journey. You have fought with me against injustice, both in the society and mundane. And if I was ever a knight in any capacity that truly mattered, you were my lance. It's for this and everything that you've done for me, I thank you. To Lady Stephanie, we are in your debt for many things, but that which comes to mind first is for showing us how our barony could be a force for positive change in the world around us. If this was through fundraising or causes, as well as inviting diverse cultures into our midst in the form of themes and artistic expression. For this and many other things, I thank you. Lady Emmeline, you brought the theater to our play. The amount of time and attention you have given us cannot be easily counted. You have made us look and feel good. You have kept the barony alive during the plague when you embraced the virtual medium. And for this and many other things, I thank you. Master Orlando, your practice saved me from my own sloth. It became the highlight of our week. You taught me, encouraged me, and inspired me. And when I needed a herald, you dropped everything. And when I needed a friend, you were there. And for this and so many other things, I thank you.
Their Excellencies would see before them Duchess Keelan Indian Phelan.
Duchess Keelan, years ago, but within our reign, you led an elite unit of swamp warriors on the field of battle. Our unit was recognized by the royals for its prowess in battle and brought great fame upon our barony. We are extremely proud of your leadership on the field of battle. And having practiced with you for many years now, I find you to be my equal or greater with the sword. And so, for this reason, I would have you inducted into the order appropriate for that prowess.
Their Excellencies would see before them the Order of the Iron Tower. I, Sir Jonathan Miles, Baron of Setmore Swamp, proclaim throughout my lands that which follows: that being born in the East Kingdom, and thereby was undefeated in battle at the Pensic War, while under the command of her grace; that being armed with the longsword, and thereby undefeated in contest, was trained by and with her grace; that in being melancholy of spirit and heavy of heart, and thereby frequently defeated in all endeavors before I begin, am inspired by the triumph over adversity as it is displayed by her grace. I, Sir Jonathan Miles, Baron of Setmore Swamp, with Baroness Teresa Anna Perez in quorum and the agreement of the order, extend the company of the Order of the Iron Tower to include Duchess Keelan Indian Phelan, and thus we preempt any counterclaim by her grace, and state that her humility be yet another qualification which we deem fit, and that we act in our intense desire to bestow upon her person that recognition to which no other can lay boast or claim to any portion of. Done by our hands on the occasion of the thawing of the mud, ANS 54. Words by His Excellency Jonathan Miles. Calligraphy and illumination by Emmeline Lechaussière. Their Excellencies would see before them Mistress Judith Boss Rabbi Mendel.
Mistress Judith started this journey with us as our seneschal. With her leadership, we formed an incredible corps of officers and ran one show-stopping event after another. It is tradition in this barony to recognize outgoing seneschals, and this tradition we heartily embrace.
Their Excellencies would see before them the Order of the Silver Tower. Doubtless, by the grace and blessing of God, the Baron and Baroness of this land called Setmore call upon the populace assembled here to witness upon this day as we induct Mistress Judith Boss Rabbi Mendel into the Order of the Silver Tower, the highest honor which they reserve to give to those whose accomplishments and gifts make them blush with conscience. They make their mark, indelible upon her reputation, that all know for whom she has toiled, and in whose eyes she is most elevated. That kings and queens have come before and made her known to the world with title and boast, is that they are just, as all kings and queens of the East are, but not that they know nor did profit from knowing her, to the profound depth that Baroness Teresa and Baron Jonathan of Setmore can rightly claim, done by their hands on the occasion of the thawing of the mud. A.N.S. 54. Hark! Their Majesties come. Herein closes the court of Jonathan Miles and Teresa Anna Perez, Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp.
Herein opens the court of the Consuls of the East.
Good afternoon. It is fantastic to virtually be with you. I love my trips to Setmore Swamp.
I always really like going to Mudthaw and shaking off the rust after practicing and entering their tourneys. It's awesome.
The mud is thawing here too, and we are very excited to be able to, as a kingdom, come together and move forward a little bit today.
Their Majesties would see before them their current Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. If you would like to join us.
Well, thank you. It would be our pleasure.
Your service to the kingdom and the barony has been excellent. It's been fantastic to know that our lands were held so responsibly and treated so carefully. As your time comes to a close here and you seek the warmer, softer days of retirement, we have a small gift we would like to present you with just so that you can be comfortable as you move on.
Thank you.
Why, thank you, Your Majesties.
Very kind.
It has been called into the past as a nice retirement for the outgoing Baron and Baroness, and also the territorial relocation programs. You'll be able to enjoy your basket and pleasures and to enjoy the picnic feasts that sometimes go along with baskets. I don't know if we've included that stuff in there because we put some items in there ourselves and some items were selected by others. So this is an awesome opportunity to say thank you so much for your service to the barony of Setmore Swamp.
It has been our absolute honor. Thank you.
It has, indeed.
At this point, I think it's time to announce and be joined by the successors to the baronial coronets of Setmore Swamp. If we could, we would love to be joined by Orlando
And Karis.
Their Majesties would see before them Orlando Sforza and Mistress Karis Accipitor.
Lovely to see you today. As we are far away, we are going to ask in our name for their last act as territorial barons of Setmore Swamp to invest you as our new representatives for the barony.
Thank you, Your Majesties.
Thank you.
So if the Baron and Baroness will please release your coronets to your successors.
For leadership, for responsibility, and for friendship.
Rise, Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp, and and take your rightful thrones.
The transition being so well executed and smooth, we congratulate you on assuming the place of Baron and Baroness of our barony of Setmore Swamp, and now would ask to hear words of fealty.
Your Majesties, I, Orlando di Sforza,
And I, Carissa Sipiter, new Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp,
do before all the peers of the realm, before the nobles and all good gentles, hereby recognize your rightful and lawful sovereignty, and do swear to uphold your decrees and to protect these lands of Setmore Swamp against all malefactors in your name.
I, Alberic,
And I, Tyndall,
hear your words and know them to be true and honorable.
we entrust you with the care of our precious barony of Setmore Swamp, when the ground is soft or when the earth is hard. We know that your wisdom and counsel will be valuable to us, and that your minds and actions will be true and just. You have our protection now, in the future, and forever.
Until the crowns come from our heads or the world ends, so say I, Alberic,
And I, Tyndall,
consuls of the East.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
For Baron Orlando and Baroness Caris, newest Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp. Vivant!
Vivant!
Vivant! Vivant!
Now, just as we sent Jonathan and Teresa away with some things they could enjoy retirement with, I find that also you need to gather your resources as you begin a journey. And as such, we would like to present you with a small token of our gratitude that you may sustain yourself on this new venture.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Now, before we move on, there is one more thing we need to address. If we could have Jonathan and Teresa back.
Their Majesties call before them Jonathan Miles and Teresa Anna Perez.
Jonathan, Teresa, your stewardship of Setmore Swamp was exemplary, and now more than ever, our territorial baronage is vital to maintaining engagement with the kingdom and keeping everything vibrant. We would like to see you stay a part of our court. We would like to acknowledge the work that you have done and award you the titles of Baron and Baroness of our court.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Our first look at Jonathan Miles saw partner and parent starting a journey, a knight with tiger strength of tooth and claw, whose clout was proved in many a tourney. Stalwart and true, his boundaries not blurry. Passion for his land was then afire. He planned to defend, support, inspire. Our view anew saw what he was doing, work toward increasing representation, inspiring fledglings, what they're pursuing. Passions became serious vocation, then plague arrived, causing complication. Though times turned unexpectedly dire, he advanced, defend, support, inspire. And today we, Alberic and Tyndall, Eastern Consulus grant, Baron of our court, knowing he will continue to propel the many good folk of our sinking fort. With superb cause to revel and cavort, what will he do next? We hear you inquire. He'll ever defend, support, and inspire. Words by Aislinn Kiabach, scroll by Fiona the Volatile.
That's beautiful.
Greetings unto all who hear these words. Know that we, mighty Tyndall and noble Alberic, consuls of our beloved East Kingdom, have seen the devoted service of our fair Teresa Anna Perez in her role of Baroness of Setmore Swamp. Her people thrived under her care and leadership. Therefore, it pleases us greatly to bestow upon her the rights, duties, and privileges of a Baroness of our court with arms by grant. Sable on a sun or a human skull sable, and on a chief embattled or 3 crescents pendant sable. Done by our hand at Mudthaw Returns in Setmore Swamp this day in March, Anno Societatis 55. Scroll by Catherine Stanhope.
Ooh.
For Jonathan and Teresa, Baron and Baroness of the Eastern Court, vivat,
Vivat.
vivant,
Vivat.
vivant.
Vivat.
Let's kiss.
So now if Orlando and Karis would please place the coronets upon their heads. For the first time, Baroness Teresa. And
Vivant!
Baron Jonathan.
Viva!
We just want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who made this possible. Again, getting to do this virtually and letting it happen. There's obviously a whole team of people that are doing the heavy lift of making this look fantastic. And I want to say a special thank you there. Thank you to Jonathan and Teresa for everything you've done for this kingdom. And then a huge, super confident thank you to Orlando and Karis as we move forward.
This is such an excellent opportunity to show the East that we can still continue on during the times of plague. Thank you so much for being available and for letting us interact with you the way we have today.
And the next time we have a Mudthaw, I'm coming down to the swamp so that I can hug
Thank you
people.
so much for your
got it.
support.
I look forward to applauding your win, Your Majesty.
Yeah. Thank you.
There being no further business, herein closes the court of the Consulates of the East.
Gracious populace, here begins the first court of their excellencies Setmore, Orlando, and Karis. Ut muto vescantor.
Welcome, friends, to the first event of the spring, Mudthaw. We're so glad you could join us for this day.
And we want to welcome you all to our first court.
First, we would like to thank those who tirelessly put this all together, creating this event virtually for you, so you can enjoy it from where you are now. So we want to give a rousing vivat for Emmeline and for Philippe.
As well as for those who helped at the kingdom level.
I would love to grab one of those cameras and turn it around and turn it on you guys. Can I do that?
No.
Oh, come on.
stand back here.
All right. So, for Emmeline and Philippe,
Vivat!
Vivat! Vivat!
We would also like to say today a great thanks for the wonderful adornments that we are wearing today, put together by a team of talented seamstresses led by Mistress Elizabeth and Mistress Katerina, and also assisted by Lydia. And we would not be in these beautiful clothes today without all of their efforts. So we'd like to thank them as well.
Thank
and to
you so
vivat
much.
for them. Vivat!
Vivat! Vivat!
But wait, we have one more order of business
Well,
that we need
what's
to
that?
take care of. We need to know that the mud has officially thawed.
Yes, the mud!
The mud!
Mud! Bring in the mud!
Bring in the mud!
Well,
Hello, Your Excellency.
Well,
hello
welcome,
again.
welcome. We need to test the mud.
Well, actually, it looks still a bit frozen.
It's almost there. It's almost there.
Well, where's our bucket?
Right,
Where's
right,
our
the bucket.
Right.
Spring is here!
Spring is here!
Go.
Move!
Herein closes the first court of Orlando and Karis, Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp. Long may they reign.
So this is retirement.
This ain't so bad.
Oh!
Pay heed to this. Herein begins Herein closes the first court of Orlando and Karis, Baron and Baroness of Setmore Swamp.
My feet don't reach the ground. I just like to say.
You want the footstools back?
No, I don't care. But I feel like
it's cute.
I feel like a small child.
Sound is good. Sound is going. Okay.
Rolling.
Number 3. And rolling.
Action. Their Excellencies would see before them Duchess Keelan Enian. Their Excellencies would see before them Duchess Keelan Enian.
Take a second. Pause.
Keelan Inian Phelan. Their Excellencies would see before them Duchess Keelan Inian Phelan.
Duchess Keelan.
So we just pause and start over.
Let's do this one again.